Good morning. For those of you who have never met Nalu, this is Nalu, my female kitty. Hello, Nalu. She's endlessly hungry. There's no end to her hunger. My sweet cat. You want to join us in the reading, or you just want to eat? So I have quite a lot on my mind this morning, as I'm sure you do, because I assume we are all human, and it's the human condition to endlessly think about things. So, oh, there's the first card. The Three of Fire, integrity. Let's go ahead and just let the tarot choose that for us this morning. The Three of Fire. Integrity. So what is integrity? Integrity is doing the right thing even when no one's watching. I guess that could be the most basic explanation. But is it ever that no one is watching? I don't believe that. I believe that I'm being held accountable by something far more powerful than the human being. Lots and lots going on with the planets. Right now we've got a full moon coming tomorrow. That's always exciting. Nalu, you want one more treat? Come on. I'm going to pull the cards. Let everybody see you. Let's have a sip of coffee. Nalu just turned 3. And then she swallowed her toy and we had to save her life with an emergency surgery, huh, honey? Yes. So you're a miracle cat. And I think it's a miracle that we've all made it this far. The daughter of Earth. Oppression. So we've got the 3 of Fire and the 10 of Fire. So the 3 of Wands and the 10 of Wands. I want to reference this guidebook a little bit today because I haven't been reading a lot. And one thing that I talk about to my friends is that 3 of Wands. It's one thing to read and to watch YouTube channels like this one and write in your journal and read books and get all this great inspiration and great ideas. It's another thing to then put those into play, right? So to put all that new information into play and to use that information as something to better ourselves, to better our position, whatever the case may be. I think sometimes we all get into a situation where we're looking for inspiration and we're getting it from places, and then there's kind of a disconnect between that and actually using that to applying it to the circumstance. And so recently what I've been doing is really working on things. I have just accepted a new modeling contract. We're going to go to Beijing, China for the fall. Beijing, home base, but all over China. I'll just work in all kinds of cities, and so I'm excited to do, to take my decks with me and to be a totally different person. It's been 7 years, and my soul needs to get out and walk a little bit. And so I made contact with people, and I made this new contract. So I am a little bit not fearful, but just there's a lot of details to handle before I leave the country for 3 months. So, there's been some self-doubt and some worry about things, and there's a lot on my mind. So for you, what's the big thing that is on your mind right now? What's coming in the near future? Something you're working on? Something maybe you're hoping that you've sent out your resumes and you're hoping to get a call from people. You go into a job fair. Maybe you're going on a first date with someone you've met, and you're excited and yet a little fearful. And how can we bring ourselves right back into this moment? The only moment that truly exists is the now, and I have fully absorbed that concept. And I think we all should, because it's so true. We have no control over past or future. And so bringing it into the reading today, there's a little bit of an oppression when we think negatively, when we worry, when we self-doubt, that can be the most debilitating thing there is. So I wrote this I feel original quote the other night in my journal. By the way, my journal, if you are a journaler, welcome and love you too. And if you are not a journaler, I want to tell you that just a daily little something, or even not, every other day, that's fine. Some days I'll write 4 pages, and some days I'll write 4 words. Extremely valuable. And what I wrote in the journal was that negative thinking is the cell door to my self-created prison. Think about that. You're trying to expand, but you're worried, you have self-doubt, and that holds you down. And so we need to have a sense of integrity toward ourselves. First of all, we have to be honest with ourselves. If we have a goal, we have to be honest. Is it really within our grasp? I mean, I don't set goals to be a doctor. I don't have that. First of all, I don't have that sort of discipline to sit through, 15-year process. Nor did I in my 20s, especially. So we have to be honest with ourselves. So I think this sense of integrity can be internal as well. But I do feel that what we put out comes back. And so we have to always be very conscious of what we are putting out into the world and how we are interacting with people. Certainly we need to be a leader and free thinking, but at the same time that can't go past the bounds of essentially right and wrong, and I think we as adults, by now, I would hope, have developed a sense of right and wrong. And when we say we're going to do something, then that's it. We do it, and we follow through. And just like this contract, I signed this contract, and I have a couple months to prepare, and the thought came into my mind, well, if I'm not prepared, I don't have to do this. Well, you know what? Sorry, you do have to do this. So get over your fears, buddy. And to me, the daughter of Earth in this case, so this is Pentacles, and obviously this is the practical circumstances. This is the money, the home. And for me today, this card represents my home here in Hawaii, but also my wife, right? So I have this amazing wife. I waited 55 years to get married, and I chose an absolute gem of a human, and I hope to get her to get in front of the camera one day, so you can meet her. But anything I'm worried about, I have to remember, like I said, it's been 7 years since I took this, went to Asia or China. Actually, to China. I've been to Asia, but not China for 7 years. 7 years ago, I didn't have this framework, this grounding, this home base, this home. I was a floating free spirit, and that can make things a lot more scary. And so, what the tarot is telling me personally today is that don't forget um, that you have someone so beautiful and so organized in a practical sense that no matter what happens, you're coming home. And you've attained that because you finally matured. I'm a very late bloomer, I like to say, and maybe you are too. So however you're relating to this, I like to talk about jobs and careers and relationships, because I think obviously those are the two main subjects in life. And so for me, I'm talking about the combination of both, really. And for you, maybe you too. Maybe you matured, and the job that you're able to acquire now has created an extreme abundance and safety and security. But maybe 10 years, 20 years ago, you were not the person yet that was ready for that job, that position, and therefore you didn't have this sense of integrity. That brought in this successful, secure, abundant, practical set of circumstances. And so looking forward, for me personally, what I see as a formula here, right? So I lead with all the best qualities of myself. I overcome self-doubt and also some of the things that hold me back. Ten of Fire, the key word here is oppression. And I'm 28 days sober today. And so I will not be taking cannabis with me to China like I did the first time. I took a bunch of cannabis with me, which was extremely stupid now that I think about it. But I won't be taking the self-doubt. I have worked extremely hard to disconnect negative mind loops. That's one thing I'm personally working on right now. Things from childhood, family members that didn't want to grow and evolve into my future with me and want to hold me in my past. So I won't be bringing those with me. What I will be bringing in is a much more mature person that is true to his word, that has prepared and studied. After 40 years of modeling, I want to tell you the funny thing is that one of the things on my list to do is to study posing. Yeah, the learning never ends, guys. The learning never ends in life. And when you're going to do something, even if you feel like, oh, I've done this so many times, it's still worth it to take a look at the nuts and bolts of that, if you will. You know, it's still worth it to read through your notes, or in my case, to get in front of the mirror like an actor does, and work on my craft, so that when I arrive, the success is so great that I add to the abundance of our life. So I'll have my wife will stay home because of the cats and because we have a home now. And from afar, through all the hard work, I will add to that. And this card is a reminder to me that there are things that can hold me back, can hinder the process and the growth. And in my case, and maybe yours too, most of those are internal things: fear, self doubt, lack of confidence. And also, when I arrive there, there'll be a situation where there'll be quite a lot of temptation in multiple areas. And, to go in and stay focused for 90 days and come home to celebrate with my family is the goal. And, at 59, that shouldn't be a problem. It truly, literally shouldn't be a problem. So I'm very excited. And however this relates to something that you're doing, what are you excited about for the fall that's coming? Are you building a new room on your home? Are you looking for that new job? Have you met someone new? Have you started a gym workout? Let's talk about the personal things real quick. My YouTube channel is I'm filling in categories, and the theme is self-actualization. And for me, there's so many things that I've done to stay alive, to stay healthy, to stay fit, to stay in shape, to stay in the running for these jobs. I mean, I want to tell you guys that there's hardly anybody that I started modeling with when I was in my 20s that is still in the business. They've either lost their hair, they've gotten fat, they've died, they've become sick alcoholics. A couple guys are just jello now. They've started other businesses, whatever the case. I'm a rare commodity. And so when I go into a contract, I'm not just going in as a guy standing in front of the camera. I'm going in as a complete story. Icon is too strong, but I hope to get there one day. But I'm bringing in a really incredible uniqueness, and that came from all these disciplines and all these things that I do. And reading the tarot is really one of my newest, and I'm the most excited about in my life, more excited than building my biceps when I was 20. If you can believe that. So so let's look at the numbers. But again, I hope something here registers for you, and I think that this is a really natural process, right? So no matter what we go into that's new, there's going to be fears, and that's normal. But because we are able to lean back on all of the high quality principles, and, if you will, stay very tapped into our intuition. None of my ideas, I don't know where the ideas come from, because we don't really have words to describe this incredible thing, this universe. We use the word universe, the great spirit, God. Christ conscience, anything that works for you is great. And that is what's guiding us. And it's a human intellectual set of circumstances that kind of can keep us down. So we need to cancel this out with this. So we have 3, 4, 14, and 1 and 4 is 5. And to me, that's freedom. Okay. Wow. That's powerful, man. So freedom, right? So being a quote unquote good, high integrity person sets us free from anything that's oppressing us. If we constantly return to the loving ourselves, we're freed from any oppressions, and our life is in a stable balance. Okay, our practical circumstances, we have enough money, we have enough food, we have a roof over our head, we have people around us that care about us. We're in a learning and teaching flow, and life is good, right? So let's be free today. Yes, let's be free. Okay, so for those who want to stick around, I'm going to read from the guidebook and see what it says. Otherwise, have an amazing day and spread love, guys. Share wisdom, spread love, and love yourself. You know, it all starts with a personal balance, and then we can share that. So, you know, start with you, please. So, integrity, innocence, being in the heart, simplicity, natural confidence, valuing oneself, clarity, sincerity. Okay. The inner message. If you let the innocence of your heart come to the forefront, most worries simply fall away. Once you accept yourself just the way you are, competitiveness and envy cease to dominate. Your path to freedom is found in the clarity and simplicity of your heart. Exactly. Outward manifestation. The fear of not getting enough if you don't put in constant effort can finally dissolve. You realize that the most important things in life arrive on their own accord, not because you earn them. Let your heart lead you to the people and circumstances you need to continue growing gently and easily. I love the idea of, you know, let the path lead you to the people and circumstances, and I think that's what I meant earlier when I said my soul needs to go out and take a walk. Is that I need to start the machine where people, places, and things start to come in, and then ideas come from that, and then things build. And you know, I feel a little bit dead mentally on this island, not spiritually, definitely mentally a little bit. Okay, Daughter of Earth. Gosh, this book is getting so beat up already. Okay, creativity, pregnancy and birth, patience, female powers, beauty, talents, fine arts, manual skills, sometimes clinging to the values of the past. Now, I'm giggling because it says pregnancy, and the whole time I was talking, I was referencing my wife here. So, is there something I don't know? Oh, gosh. Okay. Inner message. You are pregnant with yourself. Unused talents are now about to emerge and bloom. Give your inner creations room to outwardly manifest In order to do that, you need some peace and a whole lot of patience. Everything else is well and ready. What grows within you will develop beautifully if you just listen to what it needs and follow your own life's rhythm. So, again, getting back to seeking a new job in the fall. For myself, getting ready to take a really big and important business trip. And that idea is growing within me, and the idea you have about, or maybe you're expanding your business, but whatever the ideas are, they are growing within us, and we just need to listen to them and follow our own life's rhythm. So turning off outside information, at times at least, during meditation or whatever, it's really important because we need to answer our own questions. And I have a couple powerful people in my life, and sometimes they can take me off my path. So I need to turn them off. Okay, outward manifestation. An extraordinarily creative phase begins for you, and on many different levels. Even the desire to have a baby may become quite powerful. Check your motivations. See whether your longing can only be fulfilled by a physical child. Discover what nurturing really means to you. Paintings, letters, sculptures, music, and poetry, or a lovingly tended garden are your children too. All are forms of expressing your love and sense of aesthetic beauty. All are ways to enrich the world. I love that, you know. For me, it's the visual art, and I love making these videos and business. Andy Warhol said business is one of the coolest forms of art, right? So we come up with this idea, we visualize it, we set a course of action, we look for the right connections to bring it to fruition, and then we see it at its fullest fruit. And that can be a quote unquote garden of sorts as well. So this card, the book, and what I felt and saw in this card are similar, but quite a bit different in a way. And I love that it leads with creativity, because creativity, I think, is one of the practical circumstances. Again, we think of that as money and home, and food and sustenance, but I think art, being artistic, is one of the most important parts of the human experience, and certainly having a finely tended garden can be a form of art. Again, business, but obviously the more traditional ideas of art. So just maybe some people like to paint, and even if no one will ever see it, it just makes them feel good. For me, that's singing. Right now, quite a lot of people are seeing that, and the feedback has been extraordinary, and so there's been a lot of growth, and so God, just so much to unpack there. But let's get to this caution, if you will. This is a caution for us today. Okay, so 10 of fire. Oppression, resistance, stagnating life force, internalized aggression, fear of self-realization, fear of possible loss. When this card comes to you, it signifies that you are sitting on your energy, your own life source. Since you are holding on tight, it can't flow. Examine the area in your life that may be stagnant. Realize you have nothing to lose if you slowly start to dissolve these inner tensions with some physical exercise, deep relaxation, meditation. Outward manifestation. You can't move ahead if you hold your own energy back. What circumstances in your life are reflecting your inner resistance? What inside you refuses to be detached and expressed? What don't you want to show? What inhibitions are stopping your power from flowing freely? In the long run, blocked energies cause gloominess, lack of courage, a sense of meaninglessness, and finally depression. Be aware of this cycle. Take heart and let your life force flow as it wants to without fear of the consequences. So let it flow. In fact, fear is a beacon for where the growth is. So we should be walking toward it. So instead of feeling the victim, we need to stand up and face and say, no, we are not a victim. We are not going to be held down by anything, especially our own fear. My God, we've worked too hard in our life. So I see this as a reminder today to be mindful of that. In this moment, don't be afraid to send that resume. Don't be afraid to call that person. Don't be afraid to invest in the things you need to grow your business. And in my case, don't be afraid to fly halfway around the world and seek a higher level for your business. Don't be afraid, because the universe has got you. And it's your time. You're creativity pregnant right now. And your ideas are going to birth into a beautiful new phase. Okay? So I wish you well with that, and I'd love to hear your comments, um, especially around the idea of what it is this does mean to you. What are you working on? You know, I'm curious about people. Are we working on businesses? What, you know, are we just working on being balanced? You know, are we doing more exercise, more yoga, drinking more water, taking long walks? I don't know. I want to hear what you're doing. Okay. So I hope you have a wonderful day, and I love you. I do. I've never met you, but a lot of people have been sending me comments, and I super appreciate that. Okay, guys. So let's keep in touch and have a wonderful day. Aloha.